It's time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement brought to you by friends of compassion and listeners like you. Now, here are your hosts, Tony and Laureen Giorgio, with today's message of perseverance.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather, when the winds of this world are blowing strong.
Wow, what another day we got here going, aren't we? Really great. Hey,
it's
good
beautiful.
Day. How are ya? Welcome to Living with Victory, proving life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain through perseverance and faith, above all, in Jesus Christ. That's what it's all about. Hey, couple of quick reminders. You can email us your comments at livingwithvictory@gmail.com. Or you can call us at 828-926-4600. Later on, our announcer, Tim Hodges, will have additional contact information for you and how you can donate to this ministry. And remember also our partners. The Journey Christian newspaper is a free print and online publication offering encouraging articles, local Christian events, as well as world and local news from a Christian perspective. How refreshing. You can visit journeychristiannews.com. The Journey Christian newspaper encouraging Christians on their walk with Christ. And by the way, the first annual Christian Business Expo will be coming up Saturday, October 20th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Western North Carolina Ag Center's Davis building. I think that's in Fletcher. And you can bring the whole family or church groups, and you can also get more information on this, on exhibiting and what the events are going to be, because there's a lot, at WNCChristianExpo.com, or call Jeff over there at 828-676-6535. And this is another event sponsored by the Journey Christian newspaper. We hope that it'll be one of many. And now I want to say hi to my wonderful, wonderful sidekick for the last 45 years, my wife Laureen, who has a continuation of last week's word of the day and our topic. How you doing?
Good. Hi, very well, thank you. I'm so happy that you're joining us for this important topic, because if we can get this enduring trials, or keep looking, don't quit now, get that in our spirits, oh, life would be so much easier and so much more joyful and peaceful. I'm reading again from James 1, 2 through 5. Consider it wholly joyful, my brethren, whenever you are enveloped in or encounter trials of any sort, or fall into various temptations. Be assured and understand that the trial and proving of your faith bring out endurance and steadfastness and patience. But let endurance and steadfastness and patience have full play and do a thorough work, so that you may be people perfectly and fully developed, with no defects, lacking in nothing. If any of you is deficient in wisdom, let him ask of the giving God, who gives to everyone liberally and ungrudgingly, without reproaching or fault finding, and it will be given him. Like I said, these scriptures are so important. We all go through trials. We all have our ups and our downs, and mostly downs lately. It just seems everybody's going through something, whether it's emotional, financial, spiritual, whatever. But if we could get these scriptures just from our head knowledge into our hearts and understand what Christ really wants for us, we would have better than gold.
God uses the trials to develop something that we admittedly do not yet possess. And this is what it's all about. He doesn't cause it. You have to remember that. There's two forces around. The evil one is still there, trying to bat you against the wall. But God is also there to show you that you can come through it. What we're doing with this series is we're bringing you stories of people mostly very well known. Beside what we've done in our lives, these people are up at the top of the scale of who's who, you might say, and yet they've come against some horrendous challenges. But the prescription here, the formula that's written, is that your trials equal testing, which is trying to test your faith and prove your faith. And the genuineness of your faith equals your perseverance. And your perseverance shows your steadfastness and your faithfulness. And that together equals maturity. Maturity to get through anything that comes. Last week, we were talking about Robert Schuller and his family through the book, Tough Times Never Last, but Tough People Do. At a time when they didn't need any more problems, here comes the worst of the worst. They watch this funnel cloud come along. Everything he's worked for, he's trying to keep, is wiped away. They walked over into the area where the building was, and there was this sign. It used to say, "Keep looking for Jesus." Well, that was destroyed. But the piece that was left sticking up at them was, "Keep looking." He never forgot that. Keep looking. And that's the important part of that whole thing. Whatever we're going through, you have to keep going. There's perseverance. There's faith. There's you saying, "I'm not just telling you I've got faith. I don't go there on Sunday and tell you how faithful I am in church. I live it every day." And in instances like this, there are a lot of people who can just walk away and say, who cares?
Well, because he was attuned to Christ and knew his ways and loved him all along, those two words he felt was God speaking to him to keep looking and to keep going, that eventually everything will be okay. Don't quit now. He decided to stay and do what he did to keep going. Most of the farmers were in that area left.
Yes, gone.
And there's the difference when you're not in tune with Christ.
Yep, your steadfastness, there it comes, and your faithfulness. See, steadfast faith, you're sticking out. Here he is. You have to realize he's, well, our age, right? In his 60s. I can imagine looking at the top of the hill and seeing our place gone and everything. What do you do, man?
Has to be heartbreaking.
You know, even though he's a farmer, a hard worker, he said, tough times never last. He said, but tough people do. There was born a bestseller.
He also knew he didn't have to do this alone, that God was going to help him every step of the way. So he knew where his strength and his help were coming from.
And he wanted to pursue sticking it out and going for it. I mean, everybody around you thinks you're finished. You're down. You're out for the count. What does he do? He rebuilds everything. And within years, just a few years, I think it was 2 to 3 years later, the whole farm was rebuilt out of the scraps that he got from another farmer, a building, pulling nails out and redoing. And he rebuilds his life. He rebuilds his farmhouse.
He did it the hard way.
Oh,
he had to pull the nails out, straighten them out, and reuse what was already used.
The point is you need to keep dancing in the rain. You know, life has plenty of storms, but you got to learn that Jesus is your Savior, not just of your soul, but of your entire life and your tribulations. He can do it. So here he is, and he puts it all together, and he turns it around. He makes a profit on selling the farm. A couple of years later, the economy got better. Don't forget, this was toward Depression times. And he does it. He does what nobody else around him did. And that's the miracle here. And this is the point of never, ever letting storms put you down and put you on hold. You just keep going. And he did. And Robert Schuller now, okay, it finally came to him. He's got a book. Tough Times Never Last. So what does he do? He writes it. It's a bestseller. Okay? And then he goes how it all came about. He goes and he talks to a convention of farmers. He's got a story to tell now of survival. These poor guys are suffering, the economy and all, and he, believe it or not, encouraged them to the point where they left that auditorium ready to go.
It is amazing how God takes a disaster and will actually turn it around, and the benefits and the good that comes out of that, it's just amazing to watch.
Yeah, you can't, and we've seen it in our own lives. We've seen it time and time again, and that's why we're on the air. We're trying to tell you, folks, it works. Do not give up. It works in the worst of times. It works in the best of times. It's there for you all the time. Through this book also, Robert Schuller gets a call from another person who is really having her problems. If you remember the name Mary Martin, famous actress. Of course, today you call her actor, but famous actress, first woman to play Peter Pan on a Broadway stage. She was in South Pacific. She was a superstar. And she called him and let him know how inspiring he has been over the years with his preaching in the Crystal Cathedral. My tongue is getting tied here. But she had some severe storms in her life, and, she got through them. And the one thing that was really tough, you got to realize, superstar, singer, actress, and her husband dies. She's left without her soulmate for I don't know how many years they were married, but it was quite some time. And that loss was devastating, and she was dealing with it. On top of that, she loses her voice. She can't sing anymore. She's having a problem. She was so down, so out of it. She that's her whole life. You have to realize, that's her living. That's her career for years. I mean, she's on top of the scales. And all of her money really did not matter, because here she lost two of the most precious items that she had, the most precious possessions. Her husband that she loved dearly, and her voice that put her on top of the Hollywood stars. You have to realize that. And she was just out of it. She came to a point where, thanks to not waiting for storms to pass, she kept dancing in the rain. Storms keep coming. They keep coming. And even though she was making it through this, next week we're going to tell you, as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story, because even though she got through this one, the next one was unbelievable. So tune in next week. We'll tell you what happened to Mary Martin.
You want me to do the offer?
If you want to do the offer,
Okay.
go right ahead.
We do have the CD for today. If you would like to have that sent to you free of charge, it would be offer 12-904. And if anyone would like my CD, as I've been going through breast cancer, Test of Faith, you can just email us at livingwithvictory@gmail.com, and we would, again, as I say, be happy to send these to you free of charge.
Listen up to Tim Hodges, because he'll give you the rest of the information to contact us, or if you want to send a donation for this ministry. And remember, next week, the rest of the story, Mary Martin and her trials and tribulations, how she got out of them. This is Tony
And Laureen Giorgio
saying you have a blessed day. Keep dancing in the rain. Jesus is your umbrella.
You've been listening to Living with Victory with your hosts Tony and Laureen Giorgio, who for 30 years have advocated for seriously ill children through their foundation, Compassion for Kids. Many families who have children that receive daily treatments for their illnesses are extremely challenged to even begin to get their kids the life-saving treatments they need. Compassion for Kids is there to lend a hand. That is our mission, and you can become a partner in helping. Support for this radio ministry comes from Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Your tax-deductible donations can be sent to Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. You can also donate through your PayPal account by logging on to livingwithvictory.org. Tony is available to speak to your group or church members. You can call him at 828-926-4600. Join us again next week at this time for another uplifting story of dancing in the rain. Thanks for listening.